Welcome to the latest USL Championship in 10. My name's Jason Longshore. We're a few hours away from the start of match week 6 in the USL Championship 2019 season. Let's jump into the top 10 things you need to know about the USL Championship this week. Number 1, 4 teams sitting on top of the Western Conference after the Tulsa Roughnecks, who were in charge of the conference, lost 4-2 on the road to the LA Galaxy 2 last weekend. Luca Lobo is one of the wildest stories of the season. He's a defender for the Roughnecks. He scored 2 more goals on set pieces to take control of the Golden Boot race. He now has 7 on the season. That's one off of the all-time USL Championship record for goals from a defender in a season. His dominance on set pieces, it just wasn't enough. The Galaxy 2 raced out to a 3-0 lead early in the second half. They held on to it even with the goals from Lobo. They get out of there with a 4-2 win. Wins from Portland Timbers 2 and the Sacramento Republic, along with a draw from New Mexico United, have all 4 teams at the top of the Western Conference level on 10 points. From that match in Carson, California, LA Galaxy 2 midfielder Kai Koreniuk has been voted the USL Championship Player of the Week. Koreniuk led Los Dos to its second consecutive victory with 2 goals in the span of 4 minutes early in the second half when Galaxy 2 took control of the match. He added an assist as well on the last goal that sealed it. LA Galaxy 2 moves up to 5th place in the Western Conference standings with the win, and Kai Koreniuk is your USL Championship Player of the Week. Number 3 on the list comes from the OKC Energy. Last week, they scored 3 goals to earn a come-from-behind win in stoppage time. This week, they blew a 2-0 lead, and Portland Timbers 2 flipped that script on the Energy. OKC with a 2-0 lead, Portland Timbers 2 with a 3-2 win. Ryan Sierakowski's first professional goal in the 91st minute completed that comeback for Portland. OKC Energy, you get the big comeback one week, and then you blow it the next week. That's what this league and that's what this game can do to you sometimes. All right, on the good news side for OKC Energy, and this is number 4 on our 10 things you need to know about the USL Championship this week, they added Trinidad and Tobago national team midfielder Alvin Jones to their roster this week. 24-year-old midfielder, 16 caps for Trinidad and Tobago. He is best known for his goal against the United States in late 2017 that helped eliminate the U.S. from the 2018 World Cup. This is a very accomplished midfielder in the Trinidad and Tobago domestic league. He's won 2 league titles with W Connection. He also has appearances in the CONCACAF Champions League under his belt. This is, to me, I think a great representation of the quality that you are seeing USL Championship teams add this season. I think an overall level of quality that we just haven't seen across the league. It's becoming a league of choice in CONCACAF. Players are flocking to play in the USL Championship. Alvin Jones from Trinidad and Tobago is your latest addition. Look, the OKC Energy match had excitement, but New Mexico United, scoreless draw doesn't sound like that big of a deal. That was on the road at Rio Grande Valley. Did make for some history, though, for New Mexico. They've started out with 6 matches without a loss. That breaks Louisville City's 5 matches unbeaten in the launch of their first season in 2015. It's the best start unbeaten for an expansion team in USL history. Can New Mexico keep it going this weekend? They host Real Monarchs at Isotopes Park on Saturday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. They've already sold over 7,000 tickets for the match. Expect another huge crowd Saturday night, more than likely in 5 figures. New Mexico United is one of the stories in the USL Championship in 2019. Number 6 on the list in the Eastern Conference, St. Louis FC continues to set the pace. They won 2-0 on the road against Atlanta United 2 over the weekend. Sam Fink, center back, scored one of the goals on a penalty. He blocked 2 shots. He made 6 clearances. He won 3 of 4 duels. Instrumental part of St. Louis's win against Atlanta United 2. That performance earned Fink a spot in the USL Championship Team of the Week. It kept STL FC at the top of the Eastern Conference, and right now, they're looking like the best team in the USL Championship at this point. Number 7 on the list is the team that's chasing St. Louis in the Eastern Conference, the Tampa Bay Rowdies. They stayed 2 points behind STL FC with a big 4-0 win at home over Hartford Athletic. Sebastian Guenzati was the star. He had a pair of goals as the Rowdies stay unbeaten. They've had a couple of slip-ups with draws, but the Rowdies are keeping that pressure on St. Louis. Tampa Bay, there were a little bit of concerns after the scoreless draw with Loudoun United. I think they've answered those, and keep an eye on the Rowdies. It's an interesting number 8 on the list this week. A rule change has jumped into the spotlight. Birmingham Legion's match with New York Red Bulls 2 was postponed after less than 20 minutes of action. It wasn't suspended. It's not going to be picked up where it was left off. It was postponed, and it will be replayed in its entirety. In previous years, that would not have been the case. I can speak from experience in this regard. Last year, you had the first half of Atlanta United 2's match hosting Ottawa Fury. Lightning delays. You didn't complete the half. You were about 30 seconds plus stoppage time away from doing that before the final lightning delay of the night. So you had to pick up from that point on, and you had to do it later in the season when Ottawa was in the area, and you actually had to do it at a different venue because of all the scheduling conflicts. And look, I was there. I called it. It wasn't the most exciting 45-plus minutes. It's hard to deal with a match like that because you're not in a rhythm. You're playing, half of a game instead of a full game. It was just a very strange environment. I think those difficulties, how difficult it was to reschedule, just the quality of the play in that 45 minutes that was played months after the original match started, I think that had a hand in this rule change. It's good for the overall quality of the game. Birmingham and New York Red Bulls 2 will get a chance to start fresh. Now, the Red Bulls 2 would completely disagree with everything I just said because they had a 1-0 lead when the match was stopped. When it restarts, it will be scoreless, and it will start with the opening whistle in the first minute of action. Rule change that you might not have caught in the offseason brought to the fore after a Lightning this week. Number 9 on the list, some big news out of Tacoma as their midfielder, Danny Leyva, becomes the youngest signing in Seattle Sounders history at 15 years old. He started 4 of 5 games with Tacoma this season. He made his USL debut late last season. That debut was earned after starting every playoff match for Seattle's U17s as they went on to win the first National Academy Championship in club history. His performances this year in USL Championship, he does not look like a typical 15-year-old player. That's helped convince general manager Garth Lagerwey that he's ready for that homegrown player contract. He will continue to get plenty of time with the Tacoma Defiance in the USL Championship, but this is a prime example of the role that USL Championship can play, and especially for the clubs that are affiliates of MLS teams. It is an opportunity for young players to get their first taste of the professional game and show that they're ready for a little bit more. Number 10, the upcoming schedule, match week 6. It gets underway in a few hours from now on ESPN News, with Atlanta United 2 traveling to Tennessee to face Memphis 901 FC. Some other matches looking at the calendar this weekend that I'll be keeping an eye on include Tampa Bay hosting Louisville City, Big Eastern Conference battle, Portland Timbers 2 hosting the Sacramento Republic, Phoenix Rising heading to Texas to face El Paso Locomotive, and the Tulsa Roughnecks on the road again in Fresno to face Fresno FC. All those are on Saturday night. All those are available on ESPN+, and we'll be talking about probably all of those next week in the USL Championship in 10. Thanks for listening. Talk to y'all next week.